Yeah, you read the title correctly. This is not a clickbait video. This is how you can use Photoshop to make your audio sound even better. So you saw the title and you were intrigued enough to click on the video, so thanks so much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it. I wish I didn't have to go to such lengths to make people click on videos, but here you are, so welcome. You saw Photoshop in the title of this video and you saw audio, Photoshop. What is this guy talking about? This guy must be lying. This guy's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about because Photoshop is an image editing program, not an audio editing program. And that is absolutely right. This is nothing to do with actual editing your audio, but helping you get better audio. Now, I'm actually not lying. You can actually use Photoshop to make your audio sound better. But there are some caveats involved, but I will explain those later. First, let's go over what makes your audio sound really good. If you watch any videos about how to make your audio sound the best, you know you need to get your microphone as close to the source of the sound as possible. Now, a rule of thumb, I guess a rule of finger and thumb actually, anywhere like a kind of this distance from the forehead is good, and pointing towards the chest because that's where a lot of the sound comes from. Now, if you look at this shot, where do you think the mic is? Is it just out of shot up here? No, it's not. It's right here. And if you don't believe me, look at this. There you go. The microphone is here, but it's hidden. How did I do it? Well, the clue's in the title. I just used Photoshop. Now, this shot is a bit of a bad example, I guess, because I could have easily just put the microphone just out of frame up here somewhere. It wouldn't have been a problem. There's no other noise in the room, so I didn't need to go to such lengths. But I'm just using this to illustrate a point because this is something I had to do recently on a project, doing a bunch of interviews, 2 single shots of each participant and 1 master wide shot. But because of the proximity of those 2 people, I didn't want any phase between the microphones, so I wanted those microphones as close to the people as possible. But I had the problem, the master wide shot. You would see the microphones. If I try and get them out of the shot, if I hid them outside the frame, the microphone's a bit too far away, and some of the people spoke very, very quietly, and there's a bunch of producers in the room, and they're not being very quiet. They keep moving around, walking, talking, touching pieces of paper and things like that. So I needed a way of cancelling out that noise by making the vocal sound louder than anything else. And the only way I can do that is asking the person to speak louder or getting the microphone closer. So that's what I did. I put the microphones in plain view of this master wide shot, but I put them in strategic places where I knew no one was going to put their hands in the way, no one's going to move their face in the way. And so later on, because it's a static camera, I can just Photoshop this out, make a clean frame, add those clean details back on top of the original video inside the editing program, and no one would suspect a thing because why would you? What was also good is I got to clean up a lot of other details in the shot, like light stand legs in the way, covering up the gap between the brick wall in the background and the roof. It worked out pretty well. So this is very simple to do. If you know how to use Photoshop, if you know how to remove objects inside Photoshop and kind of make it look like they were never there by using elements from the background or just using the spot healing brush tool very well, you can do this as well. It's very, very simple. You don't even need Photoshop. You can use any image editing software which has this capability. So that's pretty simple. Now, let's move on to the caveats. When is this not really going to work, or where is it going to get a little bit more difficult? So, number 1, you need to place the microphone somewhere where no one's going to move behind it. So like I said before, I managed to put my microphone somewhere where I wouldn't see any hands or faces going in the way. So bearing that in mind, it's probably not a very good idea to put a microphone right in the center of someone's head in plain view because you don't want to be trying to fix their hair later on. So try and put it off to the side where there's nothing important behind there or anything that might be hard to recreate in Photoshop. Number 2, the background should be static. You don't want a background which is moving. So that could be people walking in the background, it could be cars, it could be light changing, so natural light, outside like sunlight, stuff like that. You want to avoid those things because it's going to make it hard for you. Now, yes, if you have the skills, by all means, you could animate the background or change color levels to try and match the fluctuation in natural light. But then it's a lot more work. So if you want to do it, then by all means, go ahead. Number 3, the camera should be static. Now, this is kind of similar to number 2. If you have the skills, it is very possible that you can do this, but rules 1 and rule 2 are gonna, affect things. So if you have a camera on like an automatic slider, you want to make sure that this mic never gets in front of the person's face, any of the moving hands or anything like that. If it's an animating background, again, that's just another level of complexity for you. But it is possible using like planar tracking or even 3D tracking in After Effects or Cinema 4D or something like that if you want to go to the extremes of that. It would be easier if you are using an automatic slider where the timing of the movement is constant or it's on a loop, so you can animate that loop and then just tracking your corrected image. Easy, job done. Again, a lot more work, so is it worth the time for you? That's a question only you can answer. And this was just a solution that worked for me because I wanted to get that audio as close as possible, and I didn't mind spending a little bit more extra time in Photoshop just removing those from the wide shot. So I hope this video was useful. Maybe it helped you think a little bit more outside the box, gave you some more possibilities. I just wanted to share this knowledge with you guys because I thought it might be helpful, and maybe one day you'll run into a situation similar to what I was in. So if you thought this was helpful, please give it a little like. If you like the content around here, please subscribe because I'm going to be uploading a lot more of these kind of out-of-the-box ideas. Comment down below if there's something else you want me to talk about. Make sure to follow this channel's Instagram at Another Camera Channel. And if you need a studio in Seoul, South Korea, follow our studio Instagram at There For You.